So it says, neighbors, what should she do? Woman shares that she recently found out her boyfriend is making her pay extra money in rent. It just feels like I'm being taken advantage of. She says, hi, everyone. I have been on this group for a little bit. Need to ask a question. I moved in with my boyfriend a year and a half ago. At that time, I agreed to pay him rent of $2,500 a month, all inclusive, and then recently found out his house payment is only $2,300 a month. When I asked him about it, he said, "Well, you would have had to pay rent if you lived somewhere else," which is true, but I could also buy a house and be paying my own mortgage. He also asked if he could quit his job as a carpenter and help me at my work. I do some bookkeeping work and I'm able to take on more clients if he helps. As of now, I'm paying him 40% of what I make tax free. He doesn't pay any taxes. However, I am left with paying the payroll taxes on what I earn in full, as well as my student loans, which help me gain these positions. He is currently in school to earn a certificate too. The other day, though, when I desperately needed him to help me because I was on a deadline, he was in taking a 4-hour nap because he stayed up too late the night before working on his homework. It just feels like I'm being taken advantage of, and I need some advice from my female finance smarty pants friends. I guess that's the group she's in, but she's pretty much saying she needs some advice. So, what do you think, Arpane? She she's living with her boyfriend. She's paying 2,500. The rent is only 2,300.
I can only go from the standpoint that I'm a man with two daughters. I
Mhm.
would never agree for them to be in that kind of position.
Mm.
Never. And I'll tell you why real quick. When my oldest daughter was 13 years old, we were at the dinner table for Thanksgiving. My whole family was there, grandmother, everybody else. And she said at the dinner table, "Yeah, a friend of mine at school wants me to take him to the movies, and he wants me to pay for it." And I looked at her and I said, "Listen, we're gonna talk after this dinner." I
Mhm.
brought her upstairs and we talked. I said, "You don't never pay the money I give you to some dude. If he wants to go to the movie with you, he pays. And
Mhm.
if he can't put the bottle caps together to get the money, you just ain't going." And that only not only does that go for the boys, that goes for any girls who thinks that they want to be your friend.
Mhm.
You don't have to pay for none of that. If they have conditions on their friendship, don't let the door hit them on the ass. And so 6 months later, she looked at me and said, "Hey, Dad, I hear what you're saying." I think she was a little younger than 13. So I hear what you're saying. I told this to all the girls in my class. Guess what? We ain't doing shit for, she didn't say shit. We ain't doing nothing for none of the boys. I just sat in the closet. There you go. She heard
Mhm.
me. 6 months later, she heard me. So this situation, when a woman, because the fast flash I got was her working her ass off and some ninja on the couch mooching off of her, right?
Right.
And she was a young girl at that. I said, I gotta nip this. This is the reason why men need to be in the house. Because that was all serendipity that I caught what she said when she said it. If I
Mhm.
wasn't in the house, I would have missed that.
And
So
she probably would have
that's
paid.
right. So what I'm saying is back to this point, she's being taken advantage of. Now, this guy could turn out to be, a king at some point. But the fact that he's leaning on her the way he is tells me otherwise.
Mhm.
Because no man leans on a woman that way to get their thing done without some other kind of, and she didn't say this, but there would have to be something other than the fact that he's busting her cheeks in the bedroom that makes her think that. That's the only reason why she's hanging on to this guy, because there's something sexually he's doing for her that she don't want to give up. Because other than that, I don't see it. He might
But
be.
paying 2,500 and the rent is only 2,300. I mean 2,500 individually, and you're living with somebody else. It's like, where y'all living?
Well, what I'm saying is the reason why she agreed to something like that, he's got to be doing something for her that she don't want to let go. And I'm
Right.
thinking what that might be. Is it his potential, or is it because what he's doing immediate for her right now? And all I can say is women have insight a little
Mhm.
bit, but they don't have as much foresight.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
think that she could be enamored with what how he makes her feel as opposed to her extrapolating what this might mean in the future. I
Mhm.
think that as soon as he gets what he wants, he's dipping.
Mm.
That's a possibility. I don't think she's thinking about that. Well, no, no, no. She is thinking about that's why she's asking questions. That's my take on it. She would have asked me, I would tell her the same thing I'm telling you. So she would have more to think about.
Sorry, I paused. I feel like I have to sneeze, but it won't come out. Okay.
That's all right. But I'm
Good
done. I'm
evening,
done.
Hank. How are you?
Hey, Hink, what's going on, brother?
How y'all doing this evening?
Doing good, doing
Right,
good,
all
doing
right.
good. I just dropped the link for anyone who wants to join the show. We just started with this entry of someone who needed advice. Hank, did you hear me read it?
No, I missed most of it, so I apologize for that.
It's,
It's worth another double
I can
take.
read. I can read it again. Yeah.
Okay,
I just wanted to pin the link really quick though before it gets too far up in the chat. So anyone who wants to join the show is definitely welcome. If you're new here, I do have to see your face in the back chat. If I don't know who you are, you look suspicious. You ain't coming up. I'm just saying. All right. All right, I'm gonna read it again. So it says, "Hi everyone. I have been on this group for a little bit. Need to ask a question. I moved in with my boyfriend a year and a half ago, and that time I agreed to pay him rent of $2,500 a month, all inclusive, and then recently found out his house payment is only $2,300 a month. When I asked him about it, he said, 'Well, you would have to pay rent if you live somewhere else,' which is true, but I could also buy a house and be paying my own mortgage. He also asked if he could quit his job as a carpenter and help me at my work. I do some bookkeeping work and I'm able to take on more clients if he helps. As of now, I am paying him 40% of what I make tax free. He doesn't pay any taxes. However, I am left with paying the payroll taxes on what I earn in full, as well as my student loans, which help me gain these positions. He is currently in school to earn a certificate too. The other day, though, when I desperately needed him to help me because I was on a deadline, he was in taking a 4-hour nap because he stayed up too late the night before working on his homework. It just feels like I'm being taken advantage of, and I need some advice. So, hello, Dr. Still. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine.
Good, thank you. Thanks so much for joining.
um,
So, what you think?
look, sound like they both still. I don't know what the ages is. I don't know if they've even said they was age, but they said they sound like they fresh out of college. So, sound like they both young in the game. Look, I don't have no complete problem with it. I mean, now making her pay the whole house payment. Is it a house payment or apartment?
So, it actually does seem as though it's a house. She said, found out his house payment is only $2,300 a month. Well, it says I agreed to pay him rent of 2,500 a month, all inclusive, and then recently found out his house payment is only 2,300 a month. So it's a little
Confusing, yeah.
No, it's not confused.
Well, look, all inclusive. So he might have a light bill, and he might have a water bill, and maybe internet or / cable bill. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what city they're in. That may make a significant difference too. So you look, that's I don't know if that's a really bad deal. Like I said, as long as she ain't got to pay, you know, that that rent, whatever you want to call it, a house payment, whatever, and water bill and a light bill and a cable bill / internet bill. That's not too bad. Now, she sounds like she feels like she's getting over. He feel like he's taking advantage of her, but really, is he? If it's all inclusive, I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it stuff's in his name. Something goes wrong, she decides, she wants to tear the club up. He got to pay for it. hers, all that good stuff. If she decides she want to get out, she has no obligation to stay. She's not on a lease, so she could just bail out. Or, well, I don't know. The laws against putting out people who stay there for so many days. You know, she might throw that squatter rights on them, so you can't just throw her out. You might have to, you know, pay to get her evicted. You know, have the sheriffs come out. Look, is it kind of bad? It sounds bad, you know, from listening to the story. But if you think about it and read between the lines, is it? You know, I don't know. I don't know.
I would think that if there was a little bit more effort on his part, you know, it's like she's paying taxes, he doesn't pay any taxes, $2,500 a month when the payment is really $2,300 a month. It does seem as though he's trying to get over on her somehow, some way. Because it's not like she's giving what he's doing in a positive light. You know, I can understand being tired and having homework and things like that. But when the financial burden is more so on the woman, and he purposely gave her a number that was higher than what he is paying, that's deception. You know, that to me, that's deception. So my thing is, what really is his intent with her? Like, what's your intent? Do you just want me to pay your bills? You want me here to pay your bills, or what?